I had one of the most cringiest weeb friends in middle school. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was some cringy anime trash when I was in middle school, but I never reached her level. And every day I'm glad about that. So I'm assuming most of the people here know about what Vocaloid is to some extent, right? The holographic anime singing people? So anyway, she was obsessed with one of the main leads, Kaito. The obsession began with her really liking the sound of his voice. Which isn't bad, but she refused to listen to anything but his music or covers of other Vocaloid songs in his voice. She then begged her mom to buy her a plushie of him, which she carried around like a purse dog. She put it on her desk, she guarded it like a hawk, and let no one touch it. She even stuffed it down her shirt sometimes. Next to this, she was always having a manga on hand, and it wasn't anything normal like an anime fan would have. She had yaoi, and became a bit of a fujoshi. She constantly had the yaoi manga on her. I don't know how she would have gotten it in her hands, because she told her mom she didn't know of her BL obsession, but she still had it. I don't know what yaoi it was at the time, so when looking at the cover of one of them that she had left on her lunch table when she came back from food, I said, "That girl on the cover looks pretty." She was instantly triggered, and I swear to God when I say this, picked up the manga and hit me with it screaming, "It's a boy! Get it right!" It doesn't end there, oh no, it gets better. She eventually got herself a Kaito cosplay with matching blue wig that she would wear to school every Friday. While in said cosplay, she would only answer to Kaito, would talk in a lower tone, would run around singing in terrible, not Japanese, some sort of Vocaloid songs between class. I remember talking to her one day and she asked me about my religion, and she started laughing and said, "No, everyone's wrong, including you. Kaito is actually God and I'm dating him. I'm dating a god." Yeah, she was just straight up crazy and a weeb. So, a little background on myself. I've always been small for my age. I'm extremely shy, I have anxiety that can be downright debilitating at times, and I'm black. These are more relevant to some of my other stories, but I thought I'd just get out of the way now. I'll refer to myself as Say, and it might get a bit long. This tale takes place at my very first convention, as I was either 13 or 14. Having recently cut ties with my only terrible friend, my mother was also excited to see me so happy. She and I spent hours in our hotel room getting ready to debut my first cosplay, Shelly's from Hetalia. I was practically swimming in my dress, but I was so thrilled that I honestly didn't care. After a few photos for family, my mom escorted me down to the con floor. I'll spare you the details, but it was a fantastic time. I even befriended a sizable group of Hetalia cosplayers, all of whom were a bit older and way less annoying than I was. For a while we chattered in a circle, but eventually my mom got tired, as a woman can only handle so much anime BS, and told me that she was going to rest in our hotel room. Now, before you assume she's a terrible mom for leaving me by myself, the other members of the group had their parents with them, who she had been talking to. She also wanted me to call her back and check up every hour. I promised to stick to the group, I wouldn't leave the hotel, and that I'd call her if we were moving someplace else. As it happens, I ignored my mom and wandered off alone. While I was doing whatever it was that bored preteens do by themselves at conventions, a very round America cosplayer, who was clearly much older than me, hurried up to me. "Hey, are you cosplaying Shelly's?" he asked with a polite smile. "You're very adorable. Mind if I take your picture?" I nodded, of course, because kids are stupid and he seemed very nice. By the way, I'm not kidding when I said that he was a bit round. The dude was a perfect circle. Anyway, after we'd taken a quick photo, he asked to hang out with me, since I didn't have anything lined up. I should have said no. I shouldn't have been alone in the first place. But I was desperate to make friends, so I said yes. He wound up sitting with me in a large Hetalia group for a while, and then left for a panel. The rest of the convention went well for the most part, although in hindsight there were way too many grown men asking to pick me up and carry me around. But what can you do? Anyway, I returned home to a flurry of Facebook friend requests, and even a group chat with those sweet Hetalia cosplayers. Many of us have formed a little group friend, and we still talk today. Among the notifications was a friend request from someone named Al. I immediately recognized him as the curiously shaped America cosplayer and added him without a second thought. My messenger bell went off a short time after that. It was Al. I was still excited from all the friends I'd made, so I happily engaged in conversation. Oops. The conversations start out normal. You know, the, hey, say, how are you? Did you have fun at the con? Are you back at school yet? Etc. Soon, Al mentioned another Hetalia group, a more organized one, that would run panels at local cons. He told me some sob story about being kicked off the panel for being fat, and that I should avoid them because they're awful and cliquey. Being the unpopular middle schooler, I took it to heart and offered him my condolences. He was perfectly nice, and there was no reason to bully him over his weight. I kept them in mind, knowing that they'd be hosting a panel at our state's next con. This was the first smart thing I'd done regarding this convention. Suddenly, Al mentioned how he was a professional photographer, and that he'd love to have a Shelley's photo shoot with me. Like any girl, I was over the moon. My first cosplay, and someone already wanted to have a professional photo shoot? Well, duh, of course I do. The mood whiplash didn't even faze me. Again, stupid child. I'm glad we hadn't got any further than discussing the details of the photo shoot, though, because as a convention and... I'm glad we didn't get any further in discussing the details of the photo shoot, though, because as the conversation went on, things began to get a bit weird. Al began asking me some very weird questions. I think you look really nice outside on the grass. Okay, fair enough. Good lighting, I guess. Also, I think you should go barefoot. Shelley's is a kid who spends a lot of time outside, right? Sure, my country cousins spend a lot of time outside barefoot. It makes sense to me. After the photo shoot, I could even give you a foot massage. You'd probably need it, haha. Wait, what? You haven't said anything. Don't be nervous. I'm really good at foot massages. I promise I won't hurt you. What? Well, needless to say, I panicked, blocked him, and went to bed. A few months later, I was at a small con with some friends, and the second I saw Al walk by, I began to have a pretty bad panic attack. For some reason, I thought he'd recognize me and be mad at me for blocking him on Facebook. Anyway, my girlfriend at the time, who I'll call Spain, had made friends with the aforementioned popular Hetalia group. You know, the fat-shaming one? Yeah, it turns out they were actually very sweet people, if not a little intimidating. After Spain explained to them why I was so upset, the group was furious. After a bit more talking, they revealed the real reason why Al was kicked off the panel. The dude was a registered sex offender. He had been one the whole time and hadn't even told them. Apparently lots of people have been trying to get him banned from cons altogether. He stuck around for a few years, but I haven't seen him recently, so maybe it finally worked. By the way, he never really did end up recognizing me. Thank God for heavy purple wigs. And now, onto the comments. Last video I asked what was your first convention and what was it like? First comment comes from Lightning Fan TTT Fan 14. My first convention was CosplayCon 2013. I actually talked a bit about this story on Tumblr for your inspired cosplay. Well, I remember you. I think I remember you. And I did give you that Spider-Man icon. CosplayCon held a smaller hotel convention center since that was the first year of it. And since it was a smaller and more reasonably priced, and I was dying to go to one, I decided to go. My uncle is the only one who took me, and he was dressed as Waldo while I was dressed as Elle from Death Note. My first cosplay, and damn, it was cringy. Oh, trust me, honey, I've seen worse. Trust me. I was nervous when I first showed up, and because I was stupid and thought, what if I'm the only one in cosplay? But after I went inside and saw all the amazing costumes, I calmed down and had a blast. I went to my first panel in a Hetalia Ask a Nation, bought some merch in a dealer's room, and took a lot of pictures. It felt amazing to be surrounded by people who were like me, and it was like being surrounded by 100 of my best friends. My uncle even liked the con, and he was ready to write everyone there off as nerds with no life. The tune changed quickly, though. I remember that, and when the day was over, we went home and all thought, I want to go back. I go to at least one con every year, but I don't go to CosplayCon anymore. It began to cost too much for too little content. But I go to other cons and I keep every badge from every con I go to. Same. I have a little nail in my wall dedicated to just badges. On to the next comment. This next one comes from Lilac00 Dreams. My first convention was Katsucon 2013. I was a 15-year-old and I went there with my old high school anime club. Neat. At the time, I didn't know anything about cosplay, so my mom helped me make a human Pikachu costume. I'm surprised everyone likes it. Holy crap, I once got there and I had a blast. I was amazed how people can bring art to life. This inspired me to start cosplaying. Even though Katsu is now a big and popular convention, I still go there and meet up with my friends and make happier memories with them. I'm very grateful for the club president convincing me to go. If I never went, I wouldn't have met the people I'm close to this day. Yeah, you make so many friends at conventions you don't even realize. Like, some of the people that I'm friends with now, I would have never met if it wasn't for us cosplaying characters or just just being in the same fandom or even separate fandoms. Like, people don't realize this thing sort of brings people together, and it's just one big one big convention family. Now, on to the last comment. This last one comes from Dead Girl Walking. Oh, I see that reference. I see that Heather's reference right there. I see what you're doing. My first convention was SaishuCon, and for the most part it was fun and intimidating. I didn't have any cosplay at the time, but got a ton of pictures from awesome people who did. The panels were fun, one being about campy B-rated horror flicks. Oh, that does sound like a good panel. I want to see that panel. And a killer indoor pool. Unfortunately, it took somewhat of a sour turn on the second day because of friend drama, but it was resolved the next day. I understand the friend drama at conventions. It can get a bit catty. A lot catty. But thank you guys so much for commenting. Let's get on to the next question for the next video. Since we're on the topic of conventions, and it is March now, my next question will be, what's your least favorite thing about a convention? Is it the panels? Is it certain things that the staff does? Is it the artist alley? Is it how things are handled at certain conventions? One of the things I hate at one of the conventions that I usually go to almost every single year would probably have to be how uninteresting a lot of the panels are nowadays, at least at the convention that I frequent a lot. A lot of the panels are poorly picked. Last year, I went to like 3 panels and the people didn't even show up. Like, I sat down there and I sat there for 20 minutes and nobody showed up. I even took a picture to this group I'm a part of and I said, no panel con. Cause it was horrible. It was completely horrible and very unprofessional. I know it can be very hard to hold a panel, especially if it's your first time, but there are resources on how to do it, specifically with public speaking and things like that, and it's just, please, if you're going to have a panel, at least make sure you're actually wanting to do it, and that the people that you have in the panel are wanting to do it, you know? But that's really my pet peeve, aside from other things I could complain about this convention, but I don't want to take up a whole entire video of me complaining. But yeah, what's your least favorite thing about conventions? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, don't forget to hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little tiny bell icon. It gives you notifications for when these new videos come up. I also have a link for my Tumblr, which you can send your own stories to that I will read. And I also have a Twitter for any time there's notifications for the videos, or I can just talk about stuff, anything, whatever. It's basically a shit posting Twitter. But anyway, the links will be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!